We've seen a lot of improvements recently in cycling, and one of the great achievements, I think, is how much buy-in there is now at the municipal level and provincial level into the importance of providing cycling infrastructure, except maybe in Toronto, where it's still a problem. The Green Party has $4 million established for complete roads. So new and existing roads will have adequate pedestrian and cycling infrastructure included in the cost of the road. So a road will no longer just be for cars. It'll be thought through much greater than that. The cycling is part not just only of our transportation and energy policy and reduction in climate change, it also forms part of our health policy as part of our promoting healthy living and getting people more active. And that can't happen unless our communities are structured in a way that people feel safe to cycle. I think a province-wide bicycling policy is an excellent suggestion, and it's one I would promote. And I think I'll stop at that.
I'm happy to say we have a province-wide cycling platform, and there will be a fund to promote cycling infrastructure, and bicycle tourism. We really see the value, and it does connect really well with health promotion and keeping people healthy, and it's also getting people out of their cars, and it's promoting a local, vibrant economy by having people cycle. So the fund is also going to help, not the fund, excuse me, the plan also includes promoting complete streets, like Judy just explained, so that when new developments are being made, the forethought is there to include cycling lanes and to make them accessible for individuals who want to use their bike to get around. It's really important. And I was really excited when that sign went up heading into Port Hope, welcoming to a cycling community. You can see it's starting and it's working, and people are excited about it. And I spent some time in Europe a couple of summers ago, and I watched people cycle with a sheet of drywall. I watched people cycle with a woman with a cello on her back and a kid in the front. You know, it's something that it's a little foreign to us, but it's really valuable, and I think planning ahead and including that as an option is really important.
So we made substantial progress when it comes to this, far none, and not to undermine the importance that we need to go further. I'm an immigrant. Where I was born, there were no cars back those days. I bicycled to school. My father biked to work every day, about probably 5 miles each way. There was no school buses, so I bicycled. But just a couple of things. We need to have policies in place, because first of all, for the safety, because we're getting more and more people interested in that piece, so it's paramount that we have a formal structure to deal with bicycle traffic. I'd also like to tell you that back in the early 90s, I was trying to think of the date, but I think as you get older, it's hard to remember. I walked hand in hand and held hands with David Crombie when we formed that waterfront trail. I tell you, I still got whiplashes in my back when I worked with David to establish a waterfront trail in the east part of riding from Cobourg and Brighton, back then Murray Township, which is now part of Quinte-West. It was challenging back then. I can tell you that right now. Don't you dare do that in front of my house. But we did it. And now it goes from Niagara Falls, I believe, to the Quebec border. So I'm proud to say that just the other day I found the original banner when we opened that section of the waterfront trail. So to me it's very, very important. I want to move forward though. I believe we already have a couple of provincial roads that were rebuilt within the last couple of years, that the cycling component is part of the structure that you folks talked about. So although it's not a policy yet from our perspective, but we already initiated the process to start to take place. A couple of things. One, to evaluate it, and hopefully we can do that in every new road that we build, and add maybe to some of the shoulders of the roads that need to be built. But that process already started. Thank you.
One of the interesting dilemmas here is about taxes and how we're going to pay for them. I'd like to see, based on a show of hands, if anyone really wants to have a new tax introduced on cyclists. Anybody? No? Okay, so I'm a cyclist also, so I really don't want a new tax. But the thing is, we do want to have a safe ability to cycle. We do want to have it so that we are able to cycle from town to town and be able to do in peace and not be run over by either 18-wheelers, like I used to drive before, or four-wheeled vehicles like cars and SUVs, etc. So that's one of the things that I would advocate, is to ensure that towns are able to be connected with our roads and be safe for bicyclists as they go between town to town, and be able to urbanly, at least, and interurbanly travel from region to region. Right now, we do not have an interurban bus system that allows us to hop on one end of the county at the Port Hope end, put our bicycle on the front of the bus, travel to Cobourg or wherever it is, or Quinte-West, and jump out of the bus and carry on our bicycle off to our destination. That has not been expressed by any of my parties to the left. As your representative in the independent legislature, I would bring forward something like that so that we can have the ability to cycle to and from our workplaces and also back and forth to our recreational areas. That's one of the big things I would bring forward as your representative in Northumberland Quinte-West.